Well, good morning. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Tahoe-Truckee, and our Sunday morning celebration service. We're live here in the center, and welcome to those of you joining us on Zoom. It's not snowing outside, which is a big change. We're very grateful. So everybody went on vacation, right? So we have. I'm here. I'm Rev Pam Brandman. I'm the senior minister here at the center. And whoever you are and wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. You are in the right place. We know that there are many paths to God, and they all end in oneness and in love. So we like to remind everyone that our center's purpose is love, and our vision is embracing all and serving with love while awakening to the one. We'd like to set our intentions today with our receptivity statement. If you would read along with me on our screen. And I don't know if you can read that. Can you read the bottom? Okay, together. I am here by divine appointment. Something I am about to hear applies to my life. I am open, receptive, and willing to explore the possibilities. All right. Well, our musician today is Loomis. And fortunately, Rod was not unduly influenced when he played a villain in the movie Jack's Back in 1988. It's definitely a villain. And but his practitioner study seems to have redeemed his spirit and his soul. And so today he is singing for us with gratitude. He's the perfect person for this morning, singing with gratitude. Help me welcome Loomis.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Good morning, dear hearts. Okay, it's time to smile. Smile when your heart is aching. Smile even if it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you'll get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and you'll know tomorrow you'll see the sun come shining through for you. Light up your face with gladness. Release every trace of sadness. Let every tear be a healing tear of love. That's the time you must keep on knowing. Smile, that's your God heart showing. You'll find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. Light up your face with gladness. Release every trace of sadness. Let every tear be a healing tear of love. That's a time you must keep on knowing. Smile, that's your gratitude showing. You'll find that life is still worthwhile. if you just smile. Come on, smile, everyone. Smile. Smile. And so it is.
When we're singing, it's really a great thing to smile. Well, this leads us to our practitioner this morning, who is Michael Brandman. And every now and then we get a phone call at our house for Michael Brandman, someone who's looking for a movie and film producer from LA and the best-selling author of the Jesse Stone novels. And fortunately for us, the Michael Brandman who's here today is not that Michael Brandman. And this is the Michael Brandman who lives in Tahoe Vista at my house. And he is a licensed religious science practitioner. So please help me welcome Michael for this morning's special reading and invocation.
Thanks a lot. And by the way, the producer, Michael Brandman, was also the executive producer of Playboy Enterprises about 30 years ago. So it's kind of interesting. So my reading today is from 365 Days of Science of Mind, put together by our friend, Kathy Julene, practitioner, in 2001. So today's reading is on Thanksgiving. O Lord, thou art my God, I will exalt thee. I will praise thy name. Thy kingdom is an everlasting kingdom. Hallowed be thy name. From Isaiah 25:1. The attitudes of praise and thanksgiving are salutary. They not only lighten the consciousness, lifting it out of sadness and depression, they elevate consciousness to a point of acceptance. Praise and thanksgiving are really attitudes of recognition. They are affirmations of the divine presence, the divine abundance, and the divine givingness. It is only when we live affirmatively that we are happy. It is only when we recognize that the universe is built on affirmation that we can become happy. Today, through praise and thanksgiving, I recognize the divine presence in everything. In the midst of darkness, I will sing a song to the dawn, for I know that the eternal light dissipates all darkness. Today, I will recognize the beautiful and perfect in everything. I will call it forth with praise and thanksgiving, blessing the spiritual reality back of all things. Gratitude is one of the chief graces of human existence and is crowned in heaven with a consciousness of unity. From Science of Mind. There's so much to be grateful for. I am in gratitude for being part of the center for almost 3.5 years. And with Rev Pam being here at the same time through her years leading to her ordination, which is tomorrow, her ordination panels. And there's actually a Zoom celebration at 11 a.m. after the panel. So very grateful for the journey that I have had and we have had with Reverend Pam, and so grateful for the visioning last week and the breakfast that everybody participated in, and we knew Sue was there in spirit and mind with us, and a lot to be grateful for. Long, long list. And all the wonderful possibilities and potentialities in life as we go through our journey. So today we will have a wonderful talk from Reverend Pam, which we are so blessed for. And knowing that we are all one with God, one with Spirit, in that true abundance of life. All of us in that image and likeness of God in thoughts and qualities. As we live through our current existence on this particular plane of life, in our journey in growth in consciousness and spirit and happiness. And I know that all is well. I know that this service today will go smoothly. The AV system will run properly under Diana's direction, and grateful for Rod and his wonderful vocalizations with spirit in mind. I am grateful. I'm thankful for all that I have, that we have, and everything that is unfolding and evolving as we move forward. And together we say, and so it is. Okay. Oh, that's right. My friend Rod. Okay, Rod.
Okay, here I'm still here.
Okay, we'll get you up on screen.
Okay, well, good. Thank you very, very much.
No, thank you.
This is a wonderful Wyona Judd song. All the colors of the rainbow, all the voices of the wind, every dream that reaches out to find where love begins. Every word of every story, every star in every sky, every corner of creation lives to testify. For as long as I shall live, I will testify to love, be a witness in the silence when words are not enough. With every breath I take, give thanks to God within, for as long as I shall live, I will testify to love. From the mountains to the valleys, from the rivers to the sea, every hand that reaches out to offer peace, every simple act of mercy, every step to kingdom come, all the hope in every heart will speak what love has done. For as long as I shall live, I will testify to love, be a witness in the silence when words are not enough. With every breath I take, give thanks to God within. For as long as I shall live, I will testify to love. For as long as I shall live, I will testify to love, be a witness in the silence when words are not enough. With every breath I take, give thanks to God above. For as long as I shall live, I will testify to love. Be a witness in the silence when words are not enough. With every breath I take, give thanks to God. For as long as I shall live, I will testify to love. And so it is.
The power, that's what life is all about. And this month, we're talking about, we're starting the beginning of 2023, where the CSL theme is living out loud, living our spiritual principles out loud. And in January, we're going back to our basic roots of the spiritual principles and getting rooted and rebooted. But today, we're talking about one of the basic roots of life, which is gratitude. And the topic is singing with gratitude. Right? So I really felt joyful this week as I prepared this talk on singing with gratitude. And my first thought was about, the birds singing to the morning right before dawn. And then I did a little research, and in the morning when the bird sings, it takes a lot of energy to sing. And it's really male birds that are out there singing in the dark because, for one, it's a mating call because the females can't find them in the dark, right? Well, even though they're brightly colored. And the other thing is they're warning off the other male birds that this is my territory, so stay away, right? So, but it's also about their faith that the darkness is going to fade and the dawn will come, right? It's about welcoming that new day with expectation. Now, one of my favorite Kodak moments in my own life that brings me a lot of joy is when I watched Julie Andrews that first time as Maria standing on top of that mountaintop in the Alps. And she's singing, "The hills are alive with the sound of music," and her arms are just flung open wide. And there's this panoramic view of the Alps and the magnificence of the sky. And she's just turning around and around. I guess she did get blown over by the helicopter. They cut that out of what's on the screen. But it's that wonderful feeling. But I get of recognizing the presence of God in everything, just being there in that moment. And she has such a beautiful voice, and it's just that feeling of utter joy, right? And my mother dearly loved that movie. And it's one of the few movies that she would just watch over and over and over again. And, and the older I get, the more I understand the joy that she felt, and each time I hear the movie, hear that song or see it again, and it just takes me right back to that feeling, of being there in joy and feeling that presence of God, right? It's singing with gratitude. Right? God is all there is. Now, when we express gratitude, we open our hearts and minds to both give and receive the many blessings that are already there, that are continually flowing into our lives. But it's like we wake up and notice it and pay attention, right? And so also what we focus on grows. So when we have a gratitude practice, it nurtures that flow of divine goodness in our lives, right? And the quote that we had from the reading this morning, "The attitudes of praise and thanksgiving are salutary. They not only lighten the consciousness, lifting it out of sadness and depression, they elevate consciousness to a point of acceptance," right? Praise and thanksgiving are attitudes of recognition. They are affirmations of the divine presence, the divine abundance, and the divine givingness. So when we give gratitude, we are accepting it. We're recognizing that it's there. You could be sitting in front of the most bountiful feast in front of you, but you never accepted it. If you never took a bite, you would never enjoy that feast. And a lot of things in life are like that. They're just waiting for us to go, well, duh, I didn't see it, but it was there all the time, right? And Ernest Holmes, a wonderful quote, "Gratitude is one of the chief graces of human existence and is crowned in heaven with a consciousness of unity." So when we know that we're in the flow of life and all of the goodness, we realize that we are one with God. We're one with the goodness. We're one with all of the things that we're seeking are already ours. It's like the prodigal son. All we have to do is show up and accept it. So let's talk more about this wonderful, powerful emotion called gratitude. Now, in Science of Mind, we have 5 steps of treatment. This is part of the basics. And so the first step is we recognize that God is all there is. Secondly, that I am one with God. There's no separation between me and God is actually everything that there is. And then third, we speak our word of our intention. So, God is always pouring out all of these great, good things. And so we have to take our cup and put it into the flow in order to receive. It'll keep going by until it's like the rivers keep going past, but we have to go and put our cup or our bucket or our barrel out into the river to receive it. Now, the 4th step of the treatment, though, is thanksgiving or gratitude, right? And it's about accepting. We give gratitude for things that when we've received them, right? And so it's about us accepting that gift that is already given. Jesus told us that whatsoever ye have asked believing, ye shall receive. And so with that 4th step, then this is where the gratitude comes in. Now, once we have made that prayer request, the spiritual principle called the creative process goes into motion automatically to manifest our new intention. So this is why it's really important to be careful what we believe as opposed to what the words are, that we might be mouthing the words, but if we don't really believe it, if we're not really grateful, that's an emotion. If we're not grateful, that's what's going to manifest. And so gratitude is an emotion, and it has that strength and power of being it. And so it adds to goes from the head to the heart. And when we really believe it and accept it in our heart, that's when it really comes true, when it's manifest. So, it's like going to a restaurant. Now, so when we go into a restaurant, we sit down and we look at the menu and decide what we want. That's hopefully not too long a choice. And then the waiter or the waitress comes up and then we give them our order. And we expect them to give us what we ordered, right? And we relax in this anticipation and gratitude. And, the waiter takes the order back to the kitchen and they whip it up and they bring us exactly what we want. So absolutely, they're going to deliver it to the table. So there's a great story about this that Dr. Peter Weldes talks about in the Art and Science of Spiritual Mind Treatment in the textbook. In the class, and God always says yes. So when we order salad, we don't expect to have waffles or pancakes or a hot dog or dessert. We want that salad, right? And we want the kind of dressing that we asked for. And if we ask for gluten-free and vegan, if we're getting a little picky, we expect to get gluten-free and vegan, right? Vegan. So it's just what we ordered. So it's what manifests. And so we can trust God to deliver, but we need to be grateful in our hearts for it to happen. Now, as it's unfolding, we've put that order in. And so it doesn't always appear in the world right away. The wheels are spinning. The cook's back there cooking. And so it shows up when it's ready. But we can sit there and trust in gratitude that it is on its way. Right? Now, there are obstacles, though, to receiving. So what are some of these obstacles? Well, one of them is that we have to believe it, that we deserve it, right? And so we talked about this at the retreat last fall. When someone compliments you, do you just toss aside those compliments as something meaningless? Somebody says to you, "What a beautiful sweater." And is your response, "Oh, this old thing, I've had it for 10 years. What do you, it's this old thing." Or maybe you say, "Oh, it was really expensive. I bought it in Paris on my last trip and it cost me only $1,500 or maybe $15,000. I've met a few people with clothes like that, but what Eugene taught us to say was, "Thank you. It's true." And there's great power in that. That's the gratitude of about it. And what if, what if you tell your spouse, what a beautiful job you did cleaning up the kitchen or making dinner tonight. Thank you. Or you tell your child, what a thoughtful essay you wrote about climate change, right? All of those words of gratitude are given and then received with gratitude. It allows the person receiving, if they really receive it, and don't just brush it off, but allows them to receive a recognition of who they are and to accept who they are. Yeah, this is a really good essay. I worked really hard on it. And I deserve that A I got, Now, there's another part of it, though, is that words of gratitude creates a connection with the giver. So sometimes there's all of this big level, but there's also this smaller level of just the basics of having that connection. When you say, oh, that's a beautiful sweater, it creates a connection with the giver. It means that I see you. I see you. And so the person feels seen and there's a connection back. And so sometimes it's just a simple thank you is all that's needed, right? Now, we've also talked about gratitude is a way of opening to acceptance. And Wayne Dyer has he's written about a lot of different things, but one of the things that he likes to write about is gratitude. And he talks about it as a way of expressing the world with love rather than with judgment. Okay, so there's three things he talks about where an attitude of gratitude overcomes some obstacles that come in our typical appearance, and they represent a way of impedes our gratitude. So the first one is fault finding. When something comes into us, we can always find some fault to it. We're human beings and everything's not totally perfect. And so, it's never quite good enough for me. And, there's always faults. And so, people will just give up. Or we complain about everything in our life. We're looking at the glass as half full instead of half empty instead of half full. And so the always complaining that, I don't have enough, I've got $1 million in the bank, but it's not enough, right? Or another one is taking what we have for granted, right? And so when we're grateful, when we have that attitude of gratitude, it grows. It's like when you talk to the plant about how wonderful it is versus you don't talk to the plant or you tell that it's really got brown leaves and you don't like it. The one that you're blessing will grow and be more green and be more beautiful and grow faster. It's scientifically been proven, right? So we want to be in gratitude and support that life to be all that it can be. And it's also here living in Tahoe, when we take things for granted, we might forget that we live in one of the most beautiful places in the whole planet, right? I know every morning when I drive down to work and I drive down our hill and I look at Lake Tahoe, and it takes my breath away when I really stop and think about it, right? And another thing that makes me think about is when I dry my hair in the morning, when I wash it, it brings me back to a moment when I was my first year out of college. And I was living by myself and paying rent and trying to, anytime I wanted a piece of furniture and not sit on the floor, I had to buy something, so money was really tight. And so I remember I had to save, my hairdryer broke and I had to save for 3 paychecks to have enough money left over to buy a new hairdryer. And so I think of that sometimes when I have it's a new hairdryer now, but it makes me think about how grateful I was to have that hairdryer, not have to just blow my hair and kind of be a mess when I got to the office, right? So, but that's gratitude, right? Now, another question that's asked is gratitude for God? What if we forget to be grateful? Will God, get angry with us? And that's not the character of God. God's character is to continue giving, right? God reigns on the good and the not so good alike. It's just God gives love and generosity. And so our whatever we have is a gift from God. It's our job, our life, our prosperity, the people in our lives. It's all a gift. But the attitude of gratitude in Thanksgiving keeps us consciously aware of the oneness with that divine flow. We recognize that God is the source, right? And so it keeps that connection strong, and it helps us maintain our openness to receiving our good. It helps us remember to be grateful and accept and receive that good, right? Now, let's go a deeper level. Who is it that gets all the good stuff, right? Now, there's a quote in the Bible in Matthew 13 that is problematic for a lot of people. And it says, whoever has will be given more, and he will have an abundance. And whoever does not have, even what he has will be taken from him. This is why I speak to you in parables. Right? So Jesus did like to speak in parables. And what he was essentially saying here is that unless one conceives of ourselves as thinking of having good things, you'll never have good things. If you see yourself as poor, you'll continue to be poor. If you and you can't possess things. So we have to change our thinking first before we will manifest something greater and accept those goods. You know, and from the objective world of a person like this, even what you think will be taken away. And so the this whole idea sounds pretty cruel. You know, if I feel poor, I'm going to stay poor forever. I mean, it's just like being doomed forever. And so it's, we in our society, we want to have an equitable distribution of wealth, and we want to lift all people. Even Harvard talks about lifting all ships together with a tide. But this is the parable. And so this is talking about our thinking. It's done unto you as you believe. And so what we have to do is work on our belief, work on our thinking, develop that attitude of gratitude, and then things will start manifesting in our lives. In 1 Thessalonians 5:16, it says, rejoice evermore, pray without ceasing, and everything give thanks. So that's the basics, one of the basics of life and prosperity. In everything give thanks. It's not just about money and things in our life, but it's about relationships. It's about opportunities. It's about seeing beauty. It's about experiencing love and joy and wonder, right? So Ernest Holmes in the 365 Science of Mind, another quote, there is something in this attitude of thanksgiving that carries us beyond the field of doubt into one of perfect faith and acceptance, receptivity, realization. And so it is that idea of our attitude of gratitude when we realize that it connects us with the flow, that we are always in the flow, then that is when that flow flows unimpaired. There are no gaps and times that it's held back when the dam is in place. It's always flowing, and we're always in the midst of it, welcoming it. And I love the last part of this quote. Today, through praise and thanksgiving, I recognize the divine presence in everything. In the midst of darkness, I will sing a song to the dawn, like that bird. For I know that the eternal light dissipates all darkness. Today, I will recognize the beautiful and the perfect in everything. I will call it forth with praise and thanksgiving, blessing and the spiritual reality back of all things. Right? So I'd like to give you two examples of people that live in gratitude. So the first one is a man named Stephen Colbert. And he's a comedian who had his big start on the Colbert Report on Comedy Central. And 11 years later, he took over the Late Show with Stephen Colbert. And so after my husband died, laughing at Colbert's witty and intelligent political satire was one of the things that my son Elliot and I like to do together, right? But there's another reason I didn't realize at the time that Colbert is so talented at wisely commenting on political craziness without malice or meanness. Very astute. getting to the heart of what's crazy about it, but it's never mean spirited. And the reason is when Colbert, he was the youngest of 11 children, right? And when he was 10, his father and two older brothers were killed when the Eastern Airlines flight 212 crashed in North Carolina in the fog. Right? And so he was the last child at home. So he grew up alone with his grieving mother, read a lot of books, a book every day, he said. But his exposure to her suffering taught him how to deal with his own grief and suffering. You know, he said, it's by her example that I am not bitter. By her example, she was broken, yes, but bitter, no. And in fact, Colbert learned to handle such heartache by learning to embrace it. You got to learn to love the bomb. And boy, did I have a bomb when I was 10, he said. No, he grew to love the thing that he most wished had never happened. He learned to love it. And this love, this gratitude, there's Diane Harmony in her book, 5 Gifts to an Abundant Life. She describes, she gets to the essence of it this way. Gratitude is a distiller of emotions, she said. When you give thanks, you are purifying your emotional response to life by focusing on love and leaving fear, doubt, worry, shame, and blame behind. Now, his mother was a trained comedic actress. And so he learned comedy from her. One of the things that would get everybody laughing is she would just do a feint in the kitchen for show. And so he showed him how to do it as well, because it was always sure to get a laugh. And so he would also tell her jokes to brighten her day, right? And she remained grateful for Stephen and all of the other surviving adult children, even though there was this great loss in her life. Now, when Colbert studied drama in college, it was therapy for him to work through his grief. And, you know, and all the Stanislavski and feeling all those emotions while you're acting out all these other plays. But it was a way for him to really realize how much he had lost in his life, but to grieve it and process those emotions. And on stage, it allows him to learn to deal with that, not only him, but also his audience, process that chronic cycle of anger and chaos that we really have in American politics right now. And that's what he's learned to do. He learned to be resilient and to keep his eye on what's important. Gratitude for all that is good in life, including his wife and his children. You know, perhaps Elliot and I learned about resilience from Stephen Colbert as we dealt with our own grief together. Now, the other person that I'd like to talk about is Reverend Norm Bouchard. And he's a CSL minister at CSL Colorado Springs. I watched his memorial service yesterday. And Norm is an amazing person. He went through cancer, and when he went through chemotherapy, every time he went, he had just a crazy getup and as a clown. And he would bring a second set to put on someone else who was sitting in the chair next to him. And they had a picture of all these things. So everybody and all the nurses and all the people having chemo were all just rolling in the aisles because of these crazy getups that he would think of. And they showed a lot of them as pictures during the memorial service. But Norm started out as a Catholic priest. And he was priest for less than 5 years. And he left the priesthood when he decided to come out as gay, right? And so he went into a business where he was helping seniors with their finances and things like that, and did a lot of good training there. But eventually he found Mile High Church, which is the CSL church in Denver. And he eventually met his future husband, Scott, and they were married there in the center. And Scott is the love of his life. And eventually Norm was ordained as a CSL minister. So he and Scott traveled the world together, thought the world of each other. Just that, you know, no more love could be found in a couple than they shared together. Now, one of the things that was really important to Norm was learning how to go from good to great. And he successfully implemented that program at his center in Colorado Springs. And they went from a small new center there to, you know, went from something like 40 people to 400 people in 3 years, which is pretty amazing, right? And so he wanted to share that with everyone else. So he put on a class, and Penny Scholler and I took that class online, and it was really motivating. And he was just, we were laughing and enjoying and getting all the principles at the same time. And so then our board took it on and taught each other the principles. And then we brought it to the congregation to do our visioning process. But he really wanted people to learn what it was like to let go of your fears and your stories about the way it's always been, and all of that, and realize our greatness, realize that divinity of who we are, those divine possibilities, and do what it needs to do to let it go and let God be our guide, to be our everything, right? And that feeling of gratitude. And so Norm said, there was no greater power in the universe than the power of love. The feeling of love is the highest frequency you can emit. If you could wrap every thought in love, everything and everyone in your life would be transformed. And that's the kind of minister he was. I was, the stories of the people shared from, even people from back when he was a Catholic priest, people came from every phase of his life and just had great gratitude. They had continued to be friends with him. In the last week of his life, Barbara Boo, who is the head of ministry for the CSLs, she spent a lot of time with him. And one of the things that he did continuously, he would look at his hands and he would say, I only have time to do what I can do with love and joy. I don't have time to do anything in anger and frustration. And his whole life, he had lived with love and joy. That's what his marriage was about. That's what his ministry was about. That was what his whole medical treatment was about. And it was about what he gave to everyone that he met. So he lived life in gratitude for that abundant flow from spirit. And he lived life to its fullest in love and joy and gratitude. I think Meister Eckhart summed it all up very succinctly. He said, if the only prayer you say every day in your entire life is thank you, it will be enough. Let's take this to prayer. And so in this moment, we know that God is all there is. All the beauty and wonder around us, it is all God expressing itself with joy and love. And we give gratitude to see it and experience it. And we realize that all of that love and care has been put into each one of us, for we are a part of the divine. And we rise up to accept that greatness that is our divine inheritance. And as we look out at the world, we see that in each and every person that we meet, they are a divine creation made with love and caring and wisdom, peace and joy is the truth of who we are. And so there is this feeling of joy of this day and all of its greatness, and feeling of that joy that continuously flows into my life. There is good food, there is good laughter and friendship. There are beautiful days from sunrise to sunset and throughout the night in between. There are loving smiles that meet me wherever I go. Unconditional love is the truth of my life. And for those people in my life that for some reason there is not that contact that I would like to have, I put them into God's arms, into the unconditional love of God, which is infinite, 360 degrees. And I know that everything that they need for their own unfoldment, for their own experience of that unconditional love of spirit, of recognizing who they are, is present. And so I rest in the peaceful knowing that this is the truth of them, that all they need is provided. They are loved from every direction, from within and from without. And I am grateful to know that all that I give is wholly surpassed by the infinite one. And I see that divine love throughout the world, touching each and every situation that requires love, or bursting forth out of every situation. I mean, when I look at the sidewalk and I see grass breaking through the crack, I see it as a symbol of the determination of spirit to be everywhere present, to express itself each and every place. And so I am grateful also to be in this spiritual center, for this spiritual family that loves and accepts me just as I am, as I love and accept each and every person as they are. I am grateful for the caring that lifts me up when I fall, and that I can return that love by lifting up others when they fall. And together we rise. I am grateful that our center is going from good to great. I see it, I feel it, I give gratitude for what is unfolding. We've put in our order, we have the vision, and so we are now ready and willing to do what is ours to do. And we are patient. We have prayed for clarity, and it is coming forth to see what is ours to do, to see where the connections are, to see and attract the people that will benefit and are benefiting from who we are and what we have to share in this spiritual center. It is a place of wholeness, of love and acceptance that attracts the people that thrive here. There is that personal connection so that no one here feels lost. Instead, we each feel found, discovered, appreciated. I am so grateful. I praise God that good is everywhere. Everywhere I turn, every rock that I turn over, there is love to be found there. And where there appears to be darkness, I look with the eyes of gratitude and love, and the light fills the space. Just as when we turn on a switch, the darkness vanishes. And so there is only light. There is only wholeness and love and joy. And I say thank you. Thank you, thank you. And as I release these words, this menu order, this prayer to the law of God, and let go, I know and trust that it is now being manifest just as we have spoken in words that are even greater, with that infinite understanding and love. Life is good. Thank you, Father, Mother, God. And together we say, and so it is. And so I'd like to welcome Rod back for one more song.
Thank you, Reverend Pam. A wonderful talk. Wonderful talk. So I'm going to know the best of times, so I hope you join me with that. The best of times is now. What's left of summer but a faded rose. The best of times is now. As for tomorrow, well, who knows? Who knows? Who knows? So hold this moment fast and live and love as hard as you know how, and make this moment last, because the best of times is now, is now, is now. No, not some forgotten yesterday. Now and living life as hard as you know how, and make this moment last, because the best of times is now, is now, is now. The best of times, sing along with me, folks. What's left of summer by the fading rose. The best of times is now. As for tomorrow, well, who knows, who knows, who knows. So hold this moment fast, and live and live as hard as you know how, and make this moment last, because the best of times is now, is now, is now, is now, is now. Hallelujah, gratitude.
Of times is now. All right. Well, and this is the best of times. This is our prosperity time. So if you at CSL Tahoe, we know that God is our abundant source, and we give gratitude for all of the goodness and prosperity in our own lives, and we lovingly and gladly share it with the center. And if you would, there's lots of ways to give. And if you're not here in the sanctuary, and besides putting it in the basket, so take a, be aware of all of those, but take your gift or your idea of your gift and hold it over your heart and read our prosperity affirmation along with me. In everything I give thanks. I gratefully and joyfully share my offering, which flows from God, my infinite source. My gift blesses this center and all who are guided, blessed, and healed, empowered by its activities. And so it is. It's hard for me to read from there. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I am. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. And so we are grateful for these gifts, which are so generously and lovingly given, knowing that it is part of the flow, the infinite flow, that it is always replenished, refreshed, renewed as we share it with the world, and it comes back to us blessed and multiplied. We say, thank you, Father, Mother, God. And so it is. And so we let it be. All right. Well, I would like to welcome our guests that are here this morning. If you're here online, please put your name in the chat, or you can go on our website and sign up for our newsletter. And we will be glad to send out our newsletter that will let you know everything that's happening in our center every week. Or if you're here in the sanctuary, you can sign a welcome card. And we have some thank yous this morning. And I want to thank Diana Misets for handling our Zoom and making it look simple, which it is not. I want to thank our practitioner, Michael Brandman, for his inspiring words this morning. I want to thank Rod Loomis for his beautiful voice and the choice of music, which so perfectly captures that feeling of gratitude. I want to thank Shirley Nelson for the hospitality today and meaningful assistance by Nancy too. Okay, there's a little switching going on here today. Anyway, you never know what's going to be out there because everybody just wants to share. And it's great. I also want to thank everyone that came to the visioning last week because there was some really exciting ideas that came through for 2023. And so the board, we put it all together and the board started reviewing it at the board meeting this week. And they're going to be prioritizing it at a special board meeting on the 30th, Monday, the 30th, when all the board members will be here. And so we want to know what we're going to do first because we all want to be in the same boat, rowing in the same direction at the same time. And so that's how we grow, right? Now for our announcements. So right after the service, we'll have hospitality here in the hospitality room if you're in the sanctuary, or if you're online, please stay on for a while and you can chat with your friends that are there on the Zoom. You can also find information on our website. I forgot about next Sunday. Next Sunday, the talk is Let Go and Let God. We'll have a guest speaker, Donna Hartley, is going to be speaking about this. And she learned the hard way about letting go and letting God. So she's going to tell us about that. And our musician will be Love Eternal. And the practitioner is Carol Delbon. All right. If you're missing any part of these words, the announcements and so forth, you can find out what's going on the website, see what the topics are going to be each Sunday. And also you can find video recordings of the Sunday service on the website and on the YouTube channel as well. Now on February 19th, we've got a special Sunday coming, and you've probably heard of Ho'oponopono. And Kalina Kiko is going to be leading a workshop on Ho'oponopono called Clearing the Way for an Inspired Life. And this is a simple but extremely powerful process that changes lives. And so Colleen is going to be here, going to be exciting time. So she will be our guest speaker, our musician, and the workshop leader that day. So we're going to get to share some of the wisdom that this amazing woman will share with us. We had a fantastic red tent gathering on Friday night. We had quite a few people here from the center. And so it's a growing following. So if you want to follow that next time, it's going to be on Sunday, February 19th, 6:30 for women. It's a gathering of some ritual and sharing food together. It's over at the Lake Tahoe Wellness Center. And Jackie Price and her friend Riekerk are leading that. And also we have our regular drop-in classes. So to update you, the Tai Chi, there's no class this Thursday because Colleen and Chris are in Maui and Oahu. And the meditation energization for the Ananda practice is also on Thursday afternoon. And now that Sue is back from her vacation, the Course of Love is going to restart on Friday nights. Next, we want to welcome our children. And I know there's at least one beautiful one-year-old online. And so if you would read our children's affirmation with me. We see you, we hear you, we love you. You are a gift from God, and so it is. All right. Now, our practitioners are one of the most wonderful parts of a Center for Spiritual Living, and they are trained and licensed to work with individuals on spiritual mind treatment, which is our form of affirmative prayer, because we know that prayer works. And so our practitioner of the day was Michael Brandman. So he will be here in the sanctuary. If you would like to meet with him, Nancy O'Neill is here as well. I'm a practitioner, so you can speak with me if you need something. And online, I know Carol Delbon is there as well. And if you can put a prayer request in the box as well, or call the center office and get a phone number and make an appointment for a longer consultation. If you have something that's just stuck and not working, they can help you work through and shift from seeing all of that negative stuff to that attitude of gratitude that brings about our good in life. So we're going to, for our closing, we've got our song that we're going to sing. So we're going to stay in our seats so we can read the screen, and then we'll have our closing affirmation. So our song is Love Be With You by Gary Lynn Floyd. and Lainey Bernstein.
All together, hand in hand, we see the light, we take a stand, and we are changing. A whole new life for you and me. Take your past and set it free. Share this blessing. Love be with you. Peace enfold you. Spirit lift you. Breathe it in. Truth come through you. Make good flow to you. Let joy fill you till we meet again. All together, hand in hand, we see the light, we take a stand, and we are changing. A whole new life for you and me. We take your past and set it free. Share this blessing. Love be with you. Peace enfold you. Spirit lift you. Breathe it in. Truth come through you. Make good flow to you. Let joy renew you till we meet again. Love be with you. Ooh, 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 love be with you.
If you would repeat with me, in everything I give thanks. And so it is. All right. Thank you all.
I saw